On the planet Archeon Prime, the coalition prepared for a massive remembrance ceremony. Leaders, dignitaries, and officers gathered to celebrate peace and honor the dead. The great hall was filled with banners and music, but at its center, isolated beneath the glow of alien chandeliers, stood Kaelen. Her chains gleamed under the lights. Her head was high, proud, though her silence roared louder than the speeches around her. When her golden eyes swept the hall, people looked away, afraid of a captive who no longer carried a blade. Among the attendees was Elias Wren, a human diplomat's aide. Elias was young, with little authority and even less experience, but he had lived through the war in his own way. He had seen destruction on colonies, had carried wounded civilians, and had buried friends beneath alien skies. Unlike most, he did not look at Kaelen and see a monster. He saw someone abandoned. Elias had read reports of her life, how she had risen through the Draelith ranks not by cruelty, but by skill. How she had refused orders to massacre civilians during the war's final days. How her own people had branded her a traitor before the coalition even captured her. She had been betrayed by both sides. As the speeches droned on, Elias felt a strange pull. He crossed the floor slowly, his every step drawing stares from the crowd. No one dared approach her. But Elias, heart pounding, kept moving until he stood at her side. Kaelen's golden eyes flicked toward him, sharp and unblinking. For a moment, silence swallowed the hall. Then Elias did the unthinkable. He extended his hand. Gasps rippled through the chamber. The fiercest alien warrior in living memory. Shackled, feared, despised. And here was a human offering her something no one else had. Respect. For a long heartbeat, Kaelen did not move. Her eyes searched his face as though trying to pierce his intent. Finally, slowly, almost against her own will, she lifted her bound hand and placed it in his. The hall froze. The gesture was simple, but it shattered the image of Kaelen the monster. She was not only a weapon. She was someone who could be seen, someone who could be touched. The act changed everything. At first, the coalition dismissed it as meaningless, a foolish stunt by an unimportant aide. But whispers spread. The image of Elias holding Kaelen's hand was captured, transmitted, and replayed across systems. People who once feared her began to wonder. Could even the fiercest enemy deserve dignity? Elias was reprimanded by his superiors. "Do you know what she's done?" they hissed. "She's responsible for rivers of blood." "I know what she's accused of," Elias replied quietly. "But I also know she saved thousands when she could have killed them. She is not what they say she is." Against orders, Elias continued to visit her. Kaelen was kept in a fortified compound on Archeon Prime, guarded as if she were a living bomb. Yet Elias found ways to speak with her, sometimes through the barriers of her cell, sometimes in the rare supervised walks she was allowed. First she was silent, a wall of indifference. She would glare at him with those golden eyes, her jaw set, her scars catching the light. But Elias was patient. He asked her about her people, her world, her life before the war. He shared stories of Earth, of oceans and forests, of music that resonated through human cities. Slowly, Kaelen began to respond. Single word. A short sentence. Then one evening she laughed, a sound harsh and low but real. "You are either brave or a fool, human," she told him. "Most tremble when I breathe near them. Yet you come closer each time." "Maybe I'm both," Elias said with a grin. As weeks turned into months, a bond formed between them. Not romantic at first, but something deeper, recognition. Both had been shaped by war. Both had seen too much. Both were out of place in a galaxy eager to move on while leaving the broken behind. Kaelen revealed things no one else knew. How she had refused to obey when her commanders ordered her to slaughter innocents. How she had fought not for conquest, but for her people's survival. How she now carried the shame of being despised by enemies and betrayed by allies. "You think me fierce," she said once, staring at her shackled hands. "But fierceness is only the mask of survival. Inside I am tired." Elias reached across the table. "Then let me carry some of that weight." Their connection deepened, and with it came danger. Coalition officials grew uneasy. Rumors spread of the human who sympathizes with the alien. Some called him a traitor. Others feared Kaelen might use him to escape. Guards doubled. Surveillance tightened. But no chains could bind what was growing between them. The turning point. One night, alarms shattered the compound's silence. A Draelith strike team had come, not to rescue Kaelen but to kill her. Elias woke to the sound of blaster fire and explosions. Racing toward the compound, he found Kaelen's cell in chaos. The guards lay dead. The attackers stormed the corridors. And in the middle stood Kaelen, unchained at last, fighting with nothing but her bare hands. She was a storm. Every strike dropped an attacker, every movement a blur of precision. Yet Elias could see it in her eyes. This was not battle lust. It was desperation. When the last attacker fell, Kaelen staggered. Blood ran down her side. She looked at Elias, chest heaving. "They came for me," she rasped. "My own people. To erase what they see as betrayal." Elias rushed to her, pressing his hands against her wound. "Then we'll show them they're wrong." Coalition reinforcements swarmed the compound minutes later. But by then the image was already clear. Kaelen standing over the bodies of those who came to kill her. Not a monster, not a prisoner, but someone who had fought to survive. The ending. The assassination attempt changed everything. Public opinion shifted sharply. Even some coalition leaders admitted she could no longer be treated as a trophy or a threat. She had protected the very people who had chained her. After months of debate, Kaelen was released. Not fully free, but granted asylum under heavy watch. And she chose to stay near Elias. Their bond, tested by fire, deepened into something undeniable. First it was companionship, then trust, then something more, something neither of them had expected nor dared to hope for. One evening, as the twin moons of Archeon Prime hung over the horizon, Elias found her standing on a balcony, the wind tugging at her dark hair. "You don't belong in chains anymore," he said. "You belong among people who see you for who you are." Kaelen turned, her golden eyes soft for the first time. "And you, human. You are the only one who ever did." He reached for her hand again, as he had on that first day. This time there were no chains between them. Her fingers closed around his, strong and steady. Together they walked back into the uncertain future, not as prisoner and captor, not as enemies, but as two souls who had found each other in the ruins of war.